Hey guys, what's up? It's Sarah. Give me one moment here. I need my braille display. I hope you guys are having an amazing Holy Week, and things are going good. And so today we are going to talk about. Sorry, give me one more moment.
One system dialog displayed. One system dialog displayed.
Stupid MacBook.
Login. System dialog.
Oh, that's why.
Login failed. Login failed. Login failed.
What the heck?
Enter password. Secure edit text. Login. Login failed. Text edit. Wallet notifications. To be killed. Left double quote. Beginning of text. After Jesus finished saying all these things, he said to his followers, application chooser menu, 5 items. Edit text. Insertion at beginning of text. After Jesus finished saying all these things, screen curtain on. Screen curtain off. Speech muted.
Okay. So sorry about that. Okay. So I hope that you guys are having a wonderful Holy Week and that things are going good. And I wanted to say happy Maundy Thursday to everybody, and also happy Passover to all of my Jewish friends and anyone on here who might be Jewish. So Maundy Thursday comes from the Latin word mandatum, which basically means a command. So Jesus commanded his disciples to love one another, and he commanded them to celebrate the Passover feast in remembrance of him, the Last Supper. And so basically what Passover was, or is, I guess I should say is, but it was when it first happened. Moses and the Israelites were, okay, let me back up. So the Israelites lived in Egypt, and they lived there for a while, and then a Pharaoh who didn't know Joseph, who was Jacob's son, who had been basically lord over Egypt, enslaved the Israelites for 430 years or something like that. And Jesus, and then Moses was born, and Pharaoh was trying to kill all the babies. So Moses' mother hid him in a basket, and he was picked up by Pharaoh's daughter, and he wound up growing up and finding out he was Hebrew, and with his brother Aaron's help, he led Egypt into a bunch of plagues, trying to get Pharaoh to let his people go. And finally, the last plague was Pharaoh said he was going to kill all of the newborns, and Moses said, out of your mouth you have spoken the words, so the next plague or whatever. And so then all the firstborn of Egypt, to the firstborn of the Pharaoh, to the firstborn of the livestock, they were all going to be killed. And so Pharaoh was really upset. And so God told Moses that if people put the lamb's blood on the doorpost and lintels, that God would pass over their houses. And he told them to eat unleavened bread and bitter herbs with their lamb, to remind them of the bitterness of their captivity, and the unleavened bread to remind them of haste, which is the way that God delivered them out of Egypt. And Pharaoh was so upset that he let Moses go. And then he tried to go after them again after they left. But God parted the Red Sea, and the rest is history, I guess I should say. His story. Yep. Anyway, so Passover is that. So commemorating when the Jews were, or the Israelites, were led out of Egypt. And so this is where we find Jesus, who is a Jew, in the time of this, right before he's going to be crucified, and he's trying to celebrate this Passover, which is what we just talked about. He's trying to celebrate this with his disciples, knowing that it will be his last meal, and it's called the Last Supper, and it's also the last Passover meal that Jesus had. So we're going to read again from the scriptures. We're going to do Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. We're going to read the Passover, and we're going to read up to Jesus, right after Jesus gets arrested. And then tomorrow we will read how he went before all the Pontius Pilate and Ananias and all them, and his crucifixion. So we're going to start, one second. I gotta get this to unlock. Dang it. Come on.
Speech unmuted. Him. For kill. After beginning of text. After Jesus finished saying all these things, he said. Speech muted.
Okay, so sorry. We're gonna start with the Gospel of Mark. And so here we go. Okay. After Jesus finished saying all these things, he said to his followers, "You know that the day after tomorrow is Passover. On that day, the Son of Man will be handed over to his enemies to be killed on a cross." Then the leading priests and the older Jewish leaders had a meeting at the palace where the high priest lived. The high priest's name was Caiaphas. In the meeting, they tried to find a way to arrest and kill Jesus without anyone knowing what they were doing. They planned to arrest Jesus and kill him. They said, "We cannot arrest Jesus during Passover. We don't want the people to become angry and cause a riot." Then one of the 12 followers went to talk to the leading priests. This was the follower named Judas Iscariot. He said, "I will hand Jesus over to you. What will you pay me for doing this?" The priests gave him 30 silver coins. After that, Judas waited for the best time to hand Jesus over to them. On the first day of the Festival of Unleavened Bread, which is the Festival of Unleavened Breads for like a week, and then Passover is like at the beginning of the Festival of the Unleavened Bread. I think. I'm not sure. I just know Passover is like that Thursday, and then I know the Festival of the Unleavened Bread lasts a week. The followers came to Jesus. They said, "We will prepare everything for you to eat the Passover meal. Where do you want us to have the meal?" Jesus answered, "Go into the city. Go to a man I know. Tell him that the teacher says The chosen time is near. I will have my Passover meal with my followers at your house." They obeyed and did what Jesus told them to do. Then they prepared the Passover meal. In the evening, Jesus was at the table with the 12 followers. They were all eating. Then Jesus said, "Believe me when I say that one of you 12 here will hand me over to my enemies." The followers were very sad to hear this. Each one said, "Lord, surely not I. I am not the one." Jesus answered, "One who has dipped his bread in the same bowl with me will be the one to hand me over. The Son of Man will suffer what the scriptures say will happen to him, but it will be very bad for the one who hands over the Son of Man to be killed." Wow, that is interesting. He prophesied Judas's death or something like that. That's crazy. I never noticed that. Why, I have zero idea, but I never noticed that. That is insanity. Wow, that's okay. I'm sorry, I'm tripping. Okay, moving on. It would be better for him if he had never been born. Holy buckets. Then Judas, the very one who would hand him over, said to Jesus, "Teacher, surely I am not the one you are talking about, am I?" Jesus answered, "Yes, it is you." While they were eating, Jesus took some bread and thanked God for it. He broke off some of the pieces, gave them to his followers, and said, "Take this bread and eat it. It is my body." Then he took a cup of wine, thanked God for it, and gave it to them. He said, "Each of you drink some of it. This wine is my blood, which will be poured out to forgive the sins of many and begin the new agreement from God to his people. I want you to know I will not drink this wine again until that day when we are together in my Father's kingdom and the wine is new. Then I will drink it again just a second here. When we are together in my Father's kingdom and the wine is new. Okay. Then I will drink it again with you." They all sang a song and then went out to the Mount of Olives. I wonder what song they sang. I'm curious. I wouldn't know it because it's probably in Hebrew, but anyway, I wonder if there's a specific Passover song or psalm or... Anyway, I don't know. And I did want to say that I'm reading the easy-to-read version of the Bible like I was last time, if you haven't seen my last video. I don't really like this version, but it's easy to read, and I want everybody to understand. Children, adults, everybody. So we're using that version. So we're still in Matthew. Jesus told the followers, "Tonight you will all lose your faith in me. The scriptures say, I will kill the shepherd and the sheep will run away." Zechariah 13:7. "But after I am killed, I will rise from death. Then I will go into Galilee. I will be there before you go there." Peter answered, "All the other followers may lose their faith in you, but my faith will never be shaken." Jesus answered, "The truth is, tonight you will say you don't know me. You will deny me 3 times before the rooster crows." But Peter answered, "I will never say I don't know you." I will even die with you." And all the other followers said the same thing. Then Jesus went with his followers to a place called Gethsemane. He said to them, "Sit here while I go there and pray." He told Peter and the 2 sons of Zebedee to come with him. Then he began to be very sad and troubled. Jesus said to Peter and the 2 sons of Zebedee, "My heart is so heavy with grief. I feel as if I'm dying. Wait here and stay awake with me." Then Jesus went on a little further away from them. He fell to the ground and prayed, "My Father, if it is possible, don't make me drink from this cup, but do what you want, not what I want." Then he went back to his followers and found them sleeping. He said to Peter, "Could you men not stay awake with me for 1 hour? Stay awake and pray for strength against temptation. Your spirit wants to do what is right, but your body is weak." Then Jesus went away a second time and prayed, "My Father, if I must do this, and it is not possible for me to escape it, then I pray that what you want will be done." Then he went back to the followers. Again, he found them sleeping. They could not stay awake. So he left them and went away one more time and prayed. This 3rd time he prayed. He said the same thing. Then Jesus went back to the followers and said, "Are you still sleeping and resting? The time has come for the Son of Man to be handed over to the control of sinful men. Stand up. We must go. Here comes the one who will hand me over." While Jesus was still speaking, Judas, one of the 12 apostles, came there. He had a big crowd of people with him, all carrying swords and clubs. They had been sent from the leading priests and the older leaders of the people. Judas planned to do something to show them which one was Jesus. He said, "The one I kiss will be Jesus. Arrest him." So he went to Jesus and said, "Hello, teacher." Then Judas kissed him. Jesus answered, "Friend, do the thing you came to do." Then the men came and grabbed Jesus and arrested him. When that happened, one of the followers of Jesus grabbed his sword and pulled it out. He swung it at the servant of the high priest and cut off his ear. Jesus said to the man, "Put your sword back in its place. People who use the sword will be killed with the sword. Surely you know I could ask my Father, and he would give me more than 12 armies of angels. But it must happen this way to show the truth of what the scriptures said." Then Jesus said to the crowd, "Why do you come to get me with swords and clubs, as if I were a criminal? Every day I sat in the temple area teaching. You did not arrest me there, but now all these things have happened to show the full meaning of what the prophets wrote." Then all of Jesus' followers left him and ran away. And this is Matthew 26. Now we're going to go to Mark. Come on, go. Scrolly, scrolly. Little display. Still scrolling, still scrolling, still scrolling. Still scrolling. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is Mark, and this is what it says. So, it was now only 2 days before the Passover and the festival of unleavened bread. The leading priests and teachers of the law were trying to find a way to arrest Jesus without the people seeing it. Then they could kill him. They said, "But we cannot arrest Jesus during the festival. We don't want the people to be angry and cause a riot." Then Judas Iscariot, one of the 12 apostles, went to talk to the leading priests about handing Jesus over to them. They were very happy about this, and they promised to pay him. So he waited for the best time to hand Jesus over to them. It was now the first day of the festival of unleavened bread, the day the lambs were killed for the Passover. Jesus' followers came to him and said, "We will go and prepare everything for you to eat the Passover meal. Where do you want us to have the meal?" Jesus sent 2 of his followers into the city. He said to them, "Go into the city. You will see a man carrying a jar of water. He will come to you. Follow me. He will go into a house. Tell the owner of the house, 'The teacher asks you show us the room where he and his followers can eat the Passover meal.' The owner will show you a large room upstairs that is ready for us. Prepare the meal for us there." So the followers left and went into the city. Everything happened just the way Jesus said. So the followers prepared the Passover meal. In the evening, Jesus went to the house with the 12 apostles. While they were all at the table eating, he said, "Believe me, when I say that one of you will hand me over to my enemies, one of you eating with me now." The followers were very sad to hear this. Each one said to Jesus, "Surely not I. I am not the one." Jesus answered, "It is one of you 12, the one who is dipping his bread in the same bowl with me. The Son of Man will suffer what the scriptures say will happen to him, but it will be very bad for the one who hands over the Son of Man to be killed. It would be better for him if he had never been born." Okay, wow. He predicted that again? Gosh, okay. No wonder Judas probably remembered these things and was like, you know what? Yep. Okay. While they were eating, Jesus took some bread and thanked God for it. He broke off some pieces and gave them to his followers and said, "Take and eat this bread. It is my body." Then he took a cup of wine, thanked God for it, and gave it to them. They all drank from the cup. Then he said, "This wine is my blood, which will be poured out for many to begin the new agreement from God to his people. I want you to know, I will not drink this wine again until that day when I drink it in God's kingdom and the wine is new." They all sang a song and then went out to the Mount of Olives. Gosh, crazy. They sang again. Okay, some of these are very similar accounts. Then Jesus told the followers, "You will all lose your faith. The scriptures say, 'I will kill the shepherd and the sheep will run away.' Zechariah 13:7. But after I am killed, I will rise from death." Then I will go to Galilee. I will be there before you come." Peter said, "All the other followers may lose their faith, but my faith will never be shaken." Jesus answered, "The truth is that you will say you don't know me. You will say it 3 times before the rooster crows twice." But Peter strongly protested, "I will never say I don't know you. I will even die with you." And all the other followers said the same thing. Jesus and his followers went to a place named Gethsemane. He said to them, "Sit here while I pray." But he told Peter, James, and John to come with him. He began to be very distressed and troubled, and he said to them, "My heart is so heavy with grief. I feel as if I am dying. Wait here and stay awake." So the sons of Zebedee must be John and James. So I'm assuming John is the one whom Jesus loved, is John the son of Zebedee. I don't know. Or it might be John and Peter. I don't know. The sons of Zebedee apparently are James and John, I think. Anyway, Jesus went on a little further away from them and fell to the ground and prayed. He asked that, if possible, he would not have this time of suffering. He said, "Abba, if you can do all things, don't make me drink from this cup, but do what you want, not what I want." Then he went back to his followers and found them sleeping. He said to them, Peter, "Simon, why are you sleeping? Could you not stay awake with me for 1 hour? Stay awake and pray for strength against temptation. Your spirit wants to do what is right, but your body is weak." Again, Jesus went away and prayed the same thing. Then he went back to the followers and again found them sleeping. They could not stay awake. They did not know what they should say to him. After Jesus prayed a 3rd time, he went back to his followers. He said to them, "Are you still sleeping and resting? That's enough. The time has come for the Son of Man to be handed over to the control of sinful men. Stand up. We must go. Here comes the one who is handing me over to them." While Jesus was still speaking, Judas, one of the 12 apostles, came there. He had a big crowd of people with him, all carrying swords and clubs. They had been sent from the leading priests, the teachers of the law, and the older Jewish leaders. Judas planned to do something to show them which one was Jesus. He said, "The one I kiss will be Judas. Arrest him and guard him while you lead him away." So Judas went over to Jesus and said, "Teacher." Then he kissed him. The men grabbed Jesus and arrested him. One of the followers, standing near Jesus, grabbed his sword and pulled it out. He swung it at the servant of the high priest and cut off his ear. Then Jesus said, "Why do you come to get me with swords and clubs as if I were a criminal? Every day I was with you, teaching in the temple area. You did not arrest me there, but all these things happened that to show the full meaning of what the scriptures said." Then all of Jesus' followers left him and ran away. One of those following Jesus was a young man wearing only a loincloth. When the people tried to grab him, he left the cloth in their hands and ran away naked. Okay, that I didn't know that. It's weird when you compare the Gospels. You find all these things and it's like, what's up? Okay, so that was... Oh, I passed it. Hold on. That was... Mark? Ah! That was Mark 14. Give me just a moment, though. My braille display froze. We shall give it a minute. Give me like 30 seconds here. Give me. And it shut down that fast. Come on, let's go. Hold on, it shut down on me. Just a second here. Okay. So it's interesting that in that account, they note that the guy with the cloth and so yeah, it looks like the start of the Feast of Unleavened Bread is the Passover, is what it looks like from reading these scriptures here. So, yeah. Give me a second here. I need to reconnect to the MacBook. MacBook. Now it says, okay, Sarah's MacBook. Okay, after Jesus finished saying all these things, he said to his followers, you know that the day, wait, where am I? Sorry, give me 1 second. Gotta find Luke. It went back to the top. Second here. Wow, jeez. Can't believe it went all the way back to the top. Let's see. Sorry, I'm scrolling through here. It stopped. How in the world did it do this? It went all the way back to the top. Okay, hold on. I gotta go back. I gotta find Luke. Luke. Where is Luke? I do think James and John were the sons of Zebedee, though. Because I thought they were the two that were arguing about who was going to be the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. But could be wrong. But that's what I thought. Not really sure. Okay. Oh, let's go backward. Are you serious? you kidding me? Can I do a find? Oh, I can do that? Oh, sweet. Okay, I think we're back in business. Okay, yep, we are. Okay, so here we go. This is Luke. It was almost time for the Jewish festival of unleavened bread called the Passover. One of Jesus' 12 apostles was named Judas Iscariot. Satan entered him, and he went and talked with the leading priests and some of the soldiers who guarded the temple. He talked to them about a way to hand Jesus over to them. The priests were very happy about this. They promised to give Judas money for doing this. He agreed. Then he waited for the best time to hand him over to them. He wanted to do it when no one was around to see it. The day of the unleavened bread came. This was the day when the Jews always killed the lambs for the Passover. Jesus said to Peter and John, "Go and prepare the Passover meal for us to eat." They said to him, "Where do you want us to prepare the meal?" He said to them, "When you go into the city, you will see a man carrying a jar of water. Follow him. He will go into a house. Tell the owner of the house, 'The teacher asks that you please show us the room where he and his followers can eat the Passover meal.' Then the owner will show you a large room upstairs that is ready for us. Prepare the meal there." So Peter and John left. Everything happened the way Jesus said, so they prepared the Passover meal. The time came for them to eat the Passover meal. Jesus and the apostles were together at the table. Jesus said to them, "I wanted very much to eat this Passover meal with you before I die. I will never eat another Passover meal until it is given its full meaning in God's kingdom." Then Jesus took a cup of wine. He gave thanks to God for it and said, "Take this cup and give it to everyone here. I will never drink wine again until God's kingdom comes." Then he took some bread and thanked God for it. He broke off some pieces, gave them to the apostles, and said, "This bread is my body that I am giving for you. Eat this to remember me." In the same way, after supper, Jesus took the cup of wine and said, "This wine represents the new agreement from God to his people. It will begin when my blood is poured out for you." Jesus said, "But here on this table is the hand of the one who will hand me over to my enemies. The Son of Man will do what God has planned. But it will be very bad for the one who hands over the Son of Man to be killed." Then the apostles asked each other, "Which one of us will do that?" Later, the apostles began to argue about which one of them was the most important. But Jesus said to them, "The kings of the world rule over their people, and those who have authority over others want to be called the great providers for the people. But you must not be like that. The one of most authority among you should acts as if he is the least important. The one who leads should be like one who serves. Who is more important, the one serving or the one sitting at the table being served? Everyone thinks it's the one being served, right? But I have been with you as the one who serves. You men have stayed with me through many struggles, so I give you authority to rule with me in the kingdom the Father has given me. You will eat and drink at my table in that kingdom. You will sit on thrones and judge the 12 tribes of Israel. I have prayed that you will not lose your faith. Help your brothers be stronger when you come back to me. But Peter said to Jesus, Lord, I am ready to go into the jail with you. I will even die with you. But Jesus said, Peter, before the rooster crows tomorrow morning, you... Sorry, 1 second. It lost me. Seriously? Ay, ay, ay. Okay, I'm almost there. Okay, Peter, before the rooster crows tomorrow morning, you will say you don't know me. You will say this 3 times. Then Jesus said to the apostles, Remember when I sent you out without money, a bag, or sandals? Did you need anything? The apostles said no. Jesus said to them, But now, if you have money or a bag, carry that with you. If you don't have a sword, sell your coat and buy one. The followers said, Look, Lord, here are 2 swords. Jesus said to them, That's enough. Jesus left the city and went to the Mount of Olives. The followers went with him. He went there often. It's like a note thing that says, he said to his followers, Pray for strength against temptation. Then Jesus went about 50 steps away from them. He knelt down and prayed, Father, if you are willing, please don't make me drink from this cup, but do what you want, not what I want. Then an angel from heaven came to help him. Jesus was full of pain. He struggled hard in prayer. Sweat dripped from his face like drops of blood falling to the ground. When he finished praying, he went to his followers. He found them asleep, worn out from their grieving. Jesus said to them, Why are you sleeping? Get up and pray for strength against temptation. While Jesus was speaking, a crowd came up. It was led by Judas, one of the 12 apostles. He came over to Jesus to kiss him. But Jesus said to him, Judas, are you using the kiss of friendship to hand over the Son of Man to his enemies? The followers of Jesus were standing there too. They saw what was happening and said to Jesus, Lord, should we use our swords? and one of them did use his sword. He cut off the right ear of the servant of the high priest. Jesus said, "Stop!" Then he touched the servant's ear and healed him. Jesus spoke to the group that came to arrest him. They were the leading priests, the older Jewish leaders, and the Jewish soldiers. He said to them, "Why did you come out here with swords and clubs? Do you think I am a criminal? I was with you every day in the temple area. Why didn't you try to arrest me there? But this is your time, the time when darkness rules." I wanted to mention, Luke is the only gospel where he mentions that Jesus prayed and he sweat as of like drops of blood. There's a condition, and I will talk more about it tomorrow, because there's like a thing that talks about when Jesus was crucified and what happened. But I will read it tomorrow. It is part of the crucifixion, but it's called what is it called? Oh gosh. Hemohydriasis or something like that. And it has only happened in a few people, but you can, if you get way too stressed and nervous and tripped out, you can actually sweat blood. Your blood, you get so stressed that your blood vessels burst and you sweat blood. So yeah, that was Luke. Hold on. Where is it? That was Luke 22. Now we're going to the book of John, which is the one I like. I like all of it, but John is just so relational and understanding. It's amazing. Okay. It was almost time for the Jewish Passover festival. Jesus knew that the time had come for him to leave this world and go back to the Father. Jesus had always loved the people in the world who were his. Now there was time he showed them his love the most. Jesus and his followers were at the evening meal. The devil had already persuaded Judas Iscariot to hand Jesus over to his enemies. Judas was the son of Simon. The Father had given Jesus power over everything. Jesus knew this. He also knew that he had come from God, and he knew that he was going back to God. So while they were eating, Jesus stood up and took off his robe. He got a towel and wrapped it around his waist. Then he poured water into a bowl and began to wash the followers' feet. He dried their feet with the towel that was wrapped around his waist. He came to Simon Peter, but Peter said to him, "Lord, you shall not wash my feet." Jesus answered, "You don't know what I am doing now, but later you will understand." Peter said, "No, you will never wash my feet." Jesus answered, "If I don't wash your feet, you are not one of my people." Simon Peter said, "Lord, after you wash my feet, wash my hands and my head too." Jesus said, "After a person has a bath, his whole body is clean. He needs only to wash his feet, and you are clean, but not all of you." Jesus knew who would hand him over to his enemies. That is why he said, "Not all of you are clean." When Jesus finished washing their feet, he put on his clothes and went back to the table. He asked, Do you understand what I did for you? You call me teacher, and you call me Lord. And this is right, because that is what I am. I am your Lord and teacher. But I washed your feet, so you also should wash each other's feet. I did this as an example for you, so you should serve each other just as I served you. Believe me, servants are not greater than their masters. Those who are sent to do something are not greater than the one who sent them. If you knew these things, great blessings would be yours if you do them. I am not talking about all of you. I know the people I have chosen, but what the scriptures say must happen. The man who marked my food has turned against me. I am telling you this now before it happens. Then, when it happens, you will believe that I am. I assure you, whoever accepts the person I send also accepts me, and whoever accepts the one who sent me. After Jesus said these things, he felt very troubled. He said openly, "Believe me when I say that one of you will hand me over to my enemies." His followers all looked at each other. They did not understand who Jesus was talking about. One of the followers was next to Jesus and was leaning close to him. This was the one Jesus loved very much. Simon Peter made signs to this follower to ask Jesus who he was talking about. That follower leaned closer to Jesus and asked, "Lord, who is it?" Jesus answered him, "I will dip this bread into the dish. The man I give it to is the one." So Jesus took a piece of bread, dipped it, and gave it to Judas Iscariot, the son of Simon. When Judas took the bread, Satan entered him. Jesus said to Judas, "What you do it quickly." No one at the table understood why Jesus said this to Judas. Since Judas was the one in charge of the money, some of them thought that Jesus meant for him to go and buy some things they needed for the feast, or they thought that Jesus wanted him to go give something to the poor. Judas ate the bread Jesus gave him. Then he immediately went out. It was night. When Judas was gone, Jesus said, "Now is the time for the Son of Man to receive his glory, and God will receive glory through him. If God receives glory through him, he will give glory to the Son through himself, and that will happen very soon." Jesus said, "My children, I will be with you only a short time more. You will look for me, but I tell you now what I told the Jewish leaders. Where I am going, you cannot come. I give you a new command. Love each other. You must love each other just as I loved you. All people will know that you are my followers if you love each other." Simon Peter asked Jesus, "Lord, where are you going?" Jesus answered, "Where I am going you cannot follow now, but you will follow later." Peter asked, "Lord, why can't I follow you now? I am ready to die for you." Jesus answered, "Will you really give your life for me?" The truth is, before the rooster crows, you will say 3 times that you do not know me. That's John Fudge. John something. John 13? Yeah, it's John 13. And then this is still in John. This is still a part of John. When Jesus finished his praying, he left his followers and went across the Kidron Valley. He went into a garden there, his followers still with him. Judas, the one responsible for handing Jesus over, knew where this place was. He knew because Jesus often met there with his followers. So Judas led a group of soldiers to the garden along with some guards from the leading priests and the Pharisees. They were carrying torches, lanterns, and weapons. Jesus always knew everything that would happen to him. So he went out and asked them, "Who are you looking for?" They answered, "Jesus from Nazareth." He said, "I am Jesus." Judas, the one responsible for handing Jesus over, was standing there with them. When Jesus said it, "I am Jesus," the men moved back and fell to the ground. He asked them again, "Who are you looking for?" They said, "Jesus from Nazareth." Jesus said, "I told you that I am Jesus. So if you are looking for me, let these other men go free." This was to show the truth of what Jesus said earlier, "I have not lost anyone you gave me." Simon Peter had a sword, which he pulled out. He struck the servant of the high priest and cut off his right ear. The servant's name was Malchus. Jesus said to Peter, "Put your sword back in its place. I must drink from the cup the Father has given me." He was also the one who had told the other Jewish leaders that it would be better if one man died for all the people. That is John. I lost my spot again. 1 second. Lost my spot again. I think that might have been it, but let me go back one more time. Okay, there we go. Let me go back to here. I don't know why this keeps doing this. I hate this braille display. This braille display is like awful. Freaking awful. It's bad. Okay. Alright, so. Okay. I'm clicking on MacBook. Let's go, peoples. Okay. Seriously. I don't like this braille display. Wish I could make... Can I have both of these hooked up at the same time? Be interesting to know. Okay. Okay. And so that is all. I hope you guys have a great Maundy Thursday, and I will talk to all of you guys later. Thank you. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow when we talk about the greatest gift of all. And I hope that you all have a, like I said, a blessed Maundy Thursday. And I hope everyone that celebrates is having a blessed Passover as well. God bless everybody.